ain't nothing but a W thing. That's how it's done.
What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and tonight we're going to be talking about quite a bit of material dealing with a release window for the next weapon in Cold War Year 2, an upcoming return of a classic map, and even some classified gameplay going around for the second Modern Warfare. Definitely stay tuned. But before we jump into that, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, drop a like, and make sure you have notifications on to stay up to date with everything going on in Cold War Year 2, Warzone, Modern Warfare 2, and any other future Call of Duty as well. Now, funny enough, yesterday was actually Fajarty's birthday, which is also the same day as the Apocalypse intro cinematic cutscene for Cold War Season 2, so in spirit of that, I'm like, let's go ahead and get a nuke here on this Season 2 DLC map with the Lappa Slappa, one of the best SMGs in this game right now. It's definitely a beast, and I also wish them a happy birthday over on Twitter. Be sure to do the same when you guys get a chance. I know it's April 20th now, but show them some love over on Twitter, or show them some love on the podcast when we stream live this Friday afternoon. Now, tomorrow should be the release window, or at least sometime this week, for the Season 3 roadmap of Vanguard and Warzone. Everyone's theorizing it to be tomorrow, since for Season 2, I think it was around 6 days before the start of that season is when the roadmap got revealed. So tomorrow will also mark 6 days until Season 3. Be on the lookout for that. I'll be covering all the upcoming information over in a detailed video. But today is 420, April the 20th, and I know you guys are probably wondering, why didn't Snoop Dogg release on 420? And April 19th is close enough, right? I mean, April 1st is when he released in COD Mobile, April 19th for Vanguard and Warzone, 19 plus 1, 20. Haha, you guys get it, right? Now, back during Call of Duty Ghost, it cost $3 to get a Snoop Dogg voice pack with about 30 different voice lines, but now we have a full-fledged operator skin for him, several dozen voice lines across multiplayer, zombies, and Warzone, and a decent amount of content in the bundle itself for 2,400 COD points. I made a mistake in my previous video saying that there were 3 finishers in the pack. I meant to say 3 operator features, right? You have an MVP, you have a finisher, and some other content there, as you can see. Had to clarify that real quickly for you guys, but as a throwback to last year's 420, there was a weed bundle release over in Cold War, and here's the thumbnail for the video that I made about it. It was one of the final updates of Season 2 for that game cycle, and there were some decent blueprints, right? For the Stoner, for the Faro, you had tracer rounds on those, a cool operator skin. We even had a Stoner Woods bundle that released this past summer with an ultra reactive skin, as you could see emphasized here in tonight's thumbnail. But let me know what you're doing for 420 down below in the comments. And also for the Snoop Dogg bundle in Vanguard, there are some exclusive items you can unlock after purchasing the pack. I think it's one of the few bundles to ever offer that, where it kind of adds extra tiers you can burn through by leveling up, so it encourages you to play Vanguard a little bit more. So also let me know if you guys bought the bundle down below. Now, real quickly, we have some absolute W alpha male tweets from the man himself, Foxhound, Josh Torres, over on Twitter, who works at Treyarch, of course. Now, he put out a tweet over on Treyarch's Twitter talking about that they're hiring and there's positions open, and the replies were off. And somebody asked Josh Torres, why were the replies off? In which he replied, it's off by default because we don't want players spamming to add sex to zombies or for requests for ZC2. Milo's opinion on people leaving and a lack of actual knowledge of who has stayed or left does not govern that. So this was a crazy tweet from Foxhound, pretty much multi-layered here. So first off, adding sex to Call of Duty, or Ned from Spider-Man being the CEO of sex. I mean, these jokes that go around are just everywhere on Call of Duty posts. So I definitely get where he's coming from with that. Or the request for ZC2, we all know what's going on with that. We talked about that in depth in many previous videos. Definitely won't be happening for a couple of years. And then the last part here, Milo's opinion on people leaving. Not gonna go back into this, but might touch on it a little bit on this Friday's podcast. Other than that, I gave my thoughts pretty clearly in my previous Zombies video on what I think about the whole situation. Not trying to cause drama or get myself involved in anything, but I gave my thoughts on something that I see is pretty controversial right now. Just my opinion, of course. We also have a follow-up tweet from Josh Torres where he says, oh yeah, we definitely know. We see the people who want traditional only zombies. We see the people who dig Outbreak. We see the people who want us to try new things. It's not lost on us that people love zombies. We'll find the fun. So some optimism about their next Black Ops game, or whatever it is Treyarch is working on behind the scenes. They're hard at work to please everybody. That's never an easy task, but they're definitely always trying to keep every player in mind, as they did with Cold War, where they bring out banger round-based maps, good Easter eggs. We have the sandbox Outbreak mode. We have fast-paced Onslaught. They're also trying new things altogether, so they're aware of that. So in case anybody out there thinks they're focusing on something more than they should, or that they're prioritizing certain elements over others, they're trying their best, so keep that in mind. Now, also, a pretty shadowy update, I guess you can call this. The axe melee weapon, the throwable axe I should say, which was confirmed on the roadmap for Season 2 of Vanguard and Warzone, has mysteriously popped up as unlockable in Vanguard multiplayer zombies. There's no bundle tied to it, even though there are images out there of what the bundle will look like. It hasn't released yet, but you can unlock the weapon for free, so we're not sure if it was a mistake that it got added in, and it was confirmed for Season 2, so I would be shocked if they didn't release it this season, if they're gonna pull a butterfly knife like they did with Modern Warfare, where it was confirmed in a blog posted roadmap for that game and never ended up coming out. So in multiplayer, you have to get 3 throwing knife kills in 15 different matches. Now, I believe you could back out of those matches. You don't have to complete all of them like you have to do with Cold War. I think it works like Modern Warfare, where you can back out and the progress still saves, but correct me on that down below if I'm wrong about that. For zombies, you have to use a melee weapon to eliminate 50 Stormkriegers, and apparently that's really aids to do in Vanguard Zombies, so you're probably better off doing the challenge over in multiplayer, but more power to you. I'll keep you guys posted with whenever we get a bundle for this weapon. Now, speaking of weapons though, here's the thing, right? When it comes to Cold War Year 2, like I mentioned previous times in the past, even in my recent community post, the updates are pretty sporadic, similar to Modern Warfare 2019 and that game's second year of life, where there were months in between DLC launches for that game, with the weapons, the operators, the bundles, the maps. But for Cold War, it's been fairly consistent to where we're getting an update every 3-ish weeks on a Thursday or a Friday, whether it's a bundle, whether it's the map like WMD. So if we do some math, right, if we do 3 weeks from the launch of the Hudson Tracer Pack, which just came out, that leaves us at around May the 6th. That's not a confirmed date for the next big DLC update in Cold War, but we already know April 27th, the start of Season 3, will also be the day Cold War Zombies gets quite a few heavy updates, like the Super Easter Egg, an Outbreak LTM, updates to Onslaught. So if we look at 3 weeks past the 27th, then maybe around May 19th, May 20th could be the launch of a new bundle or even jungle in the game. But if you just go off of when bundles have come out and you gap the 3 weeks from that, then yeah, 3 weeks after the Hudson Pack came out, that'll leave us with around May the 6th, possibly even May 5th if they want to do a Thursday launch. We'll just have to wait and see how that works. But yeah, so far with Cold War's Year 2 updates, I know they've been a bit sporadic, but at least more consistent with blog posts and marketing in comparison to how the random updates were handled for Year 2 of Modern Warfare 2019. Now, despite there being early gameplay of the Ravenov bundle, and despite people out there not even having a name, if you're hacking on PC, not even having a name for the upcoming SMG in Cold War, I find it shocking that apparently the SMG is coming out first, at least according to the recent Treyarch blog post, where it's made clear that the SMG range weapon is coming out before the Scythe melee weapon. And we know the Scythe melee weapon is tied to the Ravenov pack, so something went wrong with the Ravenov bundle, whether it's because he's Russian and they want to delay releasing Russian content. I mean, there's a lot of question marks with exactly why Ravenov Pack isn't out yet, but we'll talk more about that in a second. We also have what looks like Pack-a-Punch Camos from Cold War Zombies being used in multiplayer by several different big creators, and it looks like hackers out there find a way to force load that camo onto people's weapons. So it looks like that could be something we end up seeing officially at some point in the future. If the Pack-a-Punch camos work, I see no reason why we can't see them added in universally, whether they're bundles or even a Super Easter Egg reward, to be able to use some of these Pack-a-Punch camos from D Machine, Mauder Toten, over in multiplayer and even Warzone. I mean, I say Warzone, but we all know it took, what, 5 seasons to add Dark Ether into Warzone, and Vanguard's Dark Ether isn't even in Warzone yet, so we might not ever see that. But this could be something they add in officially at some point soon if all these big YouTubers that cover multiplayer are using it in their videos. They aren't getting in trouble for it, so I'm wondering if Activision's okay with that. But yeah, how would you guys feel about Pack-a-Punch camos being added in? I mean, we kind of saw this already with games like Black Ops 2, where the camos were added in as personalization packs for a couple of dollars, and they definitely sold like hotcakes because those camos were gorgeous. So I would love to see something like that again added in here for Cold War Year 2. Now, new reports are popping up from different gaming scoopers that apparently Vanguard will not have a Season 6. I already talked about this rumor in a video a couple of weeks ago, but with the recent patch that went live in Warzone, no strings were found confirming a Season 6 of Vanguard and Caldera, whereas in previous years like Modern Warfare and Cold War, strings for a Season 6 were found pretty early on. Doesn't mean that it's definitely not happening for Vanguard. I mean, strings could be added in later, but it's a bit unlikely at this point. So with that being said, it looks like the rumor still stands that Vanguard will probably get cut off after Season 5, which could set up an early release of Modern Warfare 2. We'll get into that in a minute again. But with that being said, I think it's still safe to assume we're going to be getting one new multiplayer map per Vanguard season over in Cold War Year 2. So including Jungle, we should theoretically theoretically have 3 more maps ready to go. If I had to guess what Season 4 and 5's maps will be for Cold War, I'm just going to go with Firing Range and Summit to really close off Cold War's life cycle and to really complete the Back in Black DLC for Year 2. I think that was already rumored years ago anyway, so they're probably going to fulfill that here with the remainder of this game cycle, but we could even get more maps beyond it. Like I said, all the Black Ops past maps from BO4 could easily be ported into Cold War, so they could add in even more than 3 maps, but I think I'll be happy with at least 1 a season moving forward before the launch of the new Call of Duty this fall. Now, the preload which got found for the next Year 2 update has not been installed by us yet. If I had to take a guess, that's going to be the juicy update with everything that Treyarch has planned for this upcoming season. So to avoid spoilers, they'll probably want that preload to go live as late as humanly possible, because if not, there'll probably be some people out there spoiling exactly what's going to be added during the Super Easter egg, what other maps might be in store for multiplayer, other bundles, name of the SMG. So I'm going to safely assume that right around the time the preload goes out for Vanguard Season 3, you'll probably see the Cold War one go live shortly after that, and it'll likely be this upcoming Monday if I had to take a guess. That's usually how it works when it comes to preloads, and that's exactly how it worked for every major season of Cold War last year. Now, with the recent Warzone patch, a couple of things got changed. Number one, if anybody out there had access to Ravenov early, he's been removed, so you no longer could play as him or see him in the operator selection menu. Not sure if Quick Equip actually works from the bundle locker. I highly doubt that for those out there that may have access to that. But also in the same patch, Verdansk files that were deleted when Caldera got added in a couple of seasons ago got brought back with the recent update, leading people to believe that Verdansk is going to return at some point for the current iteration of Warzone. That would be strange, considering a dev at some point a couple of weeks ago confirmed that the game would just be far too big to support both maps, and because Warzone 1 is tied to the Modern Warfare application, it makes it very difficult for developers and engineers to make things work with these map transitions, and that's what I think Warzone 2 is going to solve when that eventually comes out and isn't tied to the Modern Warfare 2 application, at least not from our understanding. So with that in mind, we also then got what looks like a now deleted interview that Charlie Intel covered, where a developer of Warzone confirms that Verdansk will eventually return, but on certain platforms. Now, the first thing that comes to mind is Warzone Mobile, because we already had gaming scoopers like Tom Henderson, I think even the Ghost of Hope, who claimed that Verdansk will be present over in Warzone Mobile, and that's reasonable, that makes sense. So that could be the certain platforms this dev is talking about, unless he actually means Warzone 1. I mean, could Godzilla come out, destroy Caldera, and Verdansk just comes back for Season 4? Surely, and then that just remains the only map available alongside Rebirth until Warzone 2 releases in its own way? I mean, there's a lot of possibilities, but if they can find a way to have Caldera and Verdansk in the game at once, then hey, I think people out there would be happy with that. But they could even do something where we end up getting Verdansk resurgence on specific points of interest, kind of like the size of the ground war maps. So it could be Rebirth style gameplay on specific Verdansk points of interest, which get rotated in and out every so often. I mean, that could be their way to say, okay, here's how we could rotate maps without making the game too big and making the file size too frustrating for players out there. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities with this, but we know nonetheless Verdansk is coming back in some way, shape, or form at some point soon. Now, we then got a very suspicious tweet that has replies off from Ralph's Valve, who says, and I quote, "Upon further consultancy, I've been advised against releasing NDA material previously scheduled for the 30th of April for risk of liable prosecution, as well with the apparent importance of leaving the marketing timeline uninterrupted. Official words soon after, apologies. The material was promotional teasers, concept art stocks, campaign footage will still be forwarded to a select, secure group of individuals." So what this tells me is that any day now, content creators, COD partners, the press, they're going to be looking at Modern Warfare 2 gameplay. They're going to be looking at promotional material for the upcoming game. And the way that he says official words soon after has me thinking that maybe we'll get some type of small announcement on April 30th, even though I still think it's weird that April 27th is Season 3 and then 3 days later we have marketing for the new Call of Duty. It's a bit too close to one another, but maybe Activision doesn't care because they're ready to move on from Vanguard already. But I think we'll get something minor in the next week and a half, whether it's a profile picture change from Infinity Ward, a tweet here and there, and then we'll end up getting some type of teaser trailer in early May if I had to guess. But what do you guys know? I mean, I think content creators are going to be seeing gameplay very soon now, so wouldn't be shocked if we start seeing gameplay and very specific details posted by people out there that have loose lips, people out there that are going to risk breaking NDAs, or they will be breaking NDAs, but people out there risking prosecution, risking getting blacklisted, just to gain some clout and share everything on the internet, because that's exactly what happened with the first Modern Warfare game, where literally nothing was kept a secret, which is really unfortunate. So we'll just see how things go this time around with the sequel to that game. But back to a point I made earlier about Vanguard being cut short after 5 seasons, here's how this would work. So Modern Warfare Season 6 was still active when Black Ops Cold War came out, and Season 6 of Cold War was still active when Vanguard came out. I think this time the way that it would work is that Season 5 would still be active while Modern Warfare 2 comes out, or they have something different where the day Season 5 ends, that's when Season 1 immediately begins for Modern Warfare 2. So it could work a number of different ways, but I think them not doing a Season 6 just opens up the door very easily for an early October release date for Modern Warfare 2, even sooner than that. We don't know. Now, aside from the classified material regarding Modern Warfare 2, we also have some classified videos being posted from the official Call of Duty Twitter account, who just changed their profile picture, by the way, for 420. They've been teasing the Godzilla King Kong event quite a bit, and so much to where I believe the event is actually going to be pretty soon. I was thinking that that'll be a mid-season 3 type event, but I guess we'll see on the roadmap or in the blog post at some point this week exactly when the event is. They'll probably have a full description for how it'll work, the times, what's going to end up happening, because right now I would not expect this event to launch deep into Season 3 with how much they're marketing it right now, unless they just want to get the hype going as much as they can for Season 3, because the season might start off with a small amount of content for Vanguard with not too much to look forward to, hence why they had Treyarch put out that blog post about all the content they're going to be putting out, which I guess is going to carry Season 3 for the most part, because day 1 of Season 3, most people out there will be on Cold War, which is insane to think about. So unless something huge happens in Vanguard and Warzone, that's where people will be. But if the Godzilla event happens like a week or so after the start of Season 3, that's also confusing, considering that's supposed to also be when we get some small marketing on Modern Warfare 2. So there's a lot going on, but happy to stay busy nonetheless. I love covering every single game mode for you guys out there, right? I'd rather stay busy covering all types of modes at once, with marketing being days apart from each other, versus being bored and not having much to really talk about with content and not really having much of a direction to go with Call of Duty coverage. But that is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Leave our thoughts down below in the comment section. What are your thoughts on the release window for the upcoming Year 2 updates in Cold War? How are you feeling about the return of Verdansk, a classic map from Warzone by now? And also, what are you thinking about the classified material that is apparently going to be getting sent out really soon for the second Modern Warfare? Really hope you enjoyed, and peace out, everybody.